and welcome to another Blu-ray update video. So this is for May of 2019. Another bit of an unexpected Blu-ray update to be sure, but a welcome one. A couple of things in Poundland, and you know, my local Poundland, it never seemed to have stuff in, and when I'd go to Poundlands around London, there's just like all this stock, and you saw the results of that last year when I did a lot of Poundland Blu-ray updates. But my hometown Poundland never seems to have jack shit. But for some reason this week they had a lot of stuff in, so I picked up a few titles. Most of them I've seen, which is kind of a rarity for a Blu-ray update. And then at the end I have 4 really cool titles from HMV, a bit more of a meatier pack of Blu-rays for sure. But I'm really happy with the Poundland stuff. So first of all, and overall we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a nice round 10. First one I have is a film I haven't seen since I was on a train in the middle of the night listening to a man try to convince another man to engage in homosexual oral sex. Because how does he know if he likes it or not if he hasn't tried it? That is a true story. I was borderline terrified because we were the only 3 people in the carriage, and I had just finished watching this film on my laptop. I was, how old was I? 18 years old, and I was hearing this whole graphic sexual discussion, and one guy saying, "No, I'm not doing it, I'm not putting that in my mouth," and the other guy said, "How do you know if you haven't tried it?" Like, I wrote this down at one point because I couldn't believe I'd actually heard it in real life. Why am I telling this story? It's so inappropriate in any respect, but you know, certainly preceding a great film, I think, but one I haven't seen now in about 13 years. $1 Million Baby. No, that can't be the only thing I say leading up to this film. So this, I think, won a couple of Oscars, winner of 4 Academy Awards, yes. Best Film, oh wow, they win Best Motion Picture. So, oh my god, it's 1 in a million. The Sunday Times, really? That's all you could come up with for this film? So Morgan Freeman, Clint Eastwood, and Hilary Swank. I love Hilary Swank. She's a really good actress, and I think doesn't get the roles that I think she deserves in recent years. You know, I think she's a really great actor. I think of her in films like, oh, what is that Christopher Nolan film? I always forget the title of. Oh shit, that's really the one with Pacino. Is it Pacino? And Robin Williams? Holy shit, that kind of that murder mystery is a really fucking good film, and I've completely forgotten the title of it. Memento, following Memento. It's gone. It's gone. And it was based on the Scandinavian film as well. Oh, it's gone. It's really gone. But she's really good in that film. There's loads of films that she's really good in, and this one is one of them. And I haven't seen it in a very long time. I would really love to revisit it. I think Clint Eastwood is a pretty damn good actor and director, and I remember really enjoying this, and I was watching it on like a shaky copy on my laptop, so to see it on Blu-ray at some point would be great. There are a couple of bonus features on the back of the Blu-ray here, nothing too in-depth, it doesn't seem, but it's one that I saw so long ago that I probably won't really remember anything about it, so it'll be good to revisit it for sure. This one, Independence Day Resurgence. I put a joke into 24 Hour Movie Marathon 6 about this film. It's a scene where I encounter my 11-year-old self who wants to know what movies have come out in the future. And he asks about, or I ask myself about if a new Star Wars movie came out. And I excitedly say, yeah, it came out, you know, Episode 7. And then, at that point in time, I would have wanted to see a sequel to Independence Day, and so I ask myself, is there a sequel to Independence Day?
Okay, did they ever make a sequel to Independence Day?
No. Yeah, so I threw that joke in, and it got a few laughs from people, but I actually really like Independence Day Resurgence. Ain't even a guilty pleasure. It's never a guilty pleasure for me. I really enjoyed this film. I saw the midnight premiere of it, which had about 12 people in the cinema, and we did like a double bill from the original movie straight into this one, which was really fun. It's not a great film, but I really enjoyed a lot about it. Jeff Goldblum was Jeff Goldblum. I loved seeing Bill Pullman in this film. I love Bill Pullman. Bill fucking Pullman. And to see him in this film again was great, especially kind of his moment he gets in the jet plane. Like, I love that reveal, and I love how he played this kind of broken man in this film. And I almost felt like, wow, has he just aged really badly and he's in rough shape? No, he's a good actor. And then when he comes out all clean shaven, it's like, oh shit, yeah. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed this. I would look forward to seeing it again. It's been many years. I know people shat on it. There's an audio commentary. There's a 4-part making of documentary. I'm looking forward to seeing all of this stuff. I really am. And I wish that it had been successful, so they got to do that third one. They were kind of hinting at an evolution of the story, which would have been really cool. But I didn't even miss Will Smith, to be honest. I thought Jeff Goldblum carried it. I think the young cast were pretty good as well. Yeah, I could see why people didn't like it, but I had a really damn good time with it. I mean, it's not one I was rushing to buy or go back to, for sure. It's not an amazing film, but I really liked it. I love the Roland Emmerich big disaster movies. There's something about them I just really, really enjoy, even the ones that people don't think are very good. This, I don't believe I own, and I'm constantly wondering how to have this series in my collection. I used to have like a box set with like about 6 or 7 of them, and then I sold it because it was like one foot in one franchise, not franchise, but 1 foot in one series, 1 foot in the other. But this is X-Men: Days of Future Past. Nice slipcover on it. I saw this in London a few times, but the slipcover was always like completely ripped apart. So this is like in good shape, and I think this is a great film. Haven't seen it since it came out, which has been 5 years. Can you believe it's been 5 years since Days of Future Past came out? I was so excited for this film, and I always say with these movies, I am a huge sleeper fan of the X-Men series. It's not a series I think about on a day-to-day basis. It's not something I get overly excited about. When I'm sat down watching an X-Men movie, I'm like in love. I love it. Even like Apocalypse, I had such a good time with. They're just great comic book movies. I love the tone that they strike. Definitely some problematic stuff when you think about the team behind these movies. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's come out about Bryan Singer, which is, I mean, I've read some of that stuff, and it's not pretty. So I don't foresee myself watching this with his commentary. It's one of those separate the art from the artist kind of situations, unfortunately. But X-Men: Days of Future Past, love it, great film, and one I need to see again. Probably won't even get to it before. Maybe I'll watch it before Dark Phoenix comes out, which I'm really looking forward to. Sue me, you know. I've yet to be disappointed by an X-Men film. You know, Origins Wolverine is easily the worst of them, but I enjoy quite a bit about that film. So for me, I've yet to be disappointed by one of these. And this is £2. I thought I'd grab it. I think I own a standard copy of the Wolverine. I have a steelbook of Apocalypse. Logan I have in a nice edition, but yeah, I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I mean, I had like a complete set that went up to like first class, so it's just a bit in and out, and then there was some steelbooks that were really nice, but they're too pricey, so I don't know what to do. But I thought I'd grab it because it was £2, and I know there's another version of this with the Rogue cut, which I still haven't seen. I'm intrigued to see that actually, because I did quite like the character of Rogue and Anna Paquin's portrayal of her in the original movies. But yeah, anyway, so I could talk about that film quite a lot. Still not a huge fan of how it kind of retcons everything at the end of Days of Future Past. It feels like a lot of the earlier films didn't happen in that timeline, but that's what happens when you get into time travel and that kind of thing. This I already own. It is Mission Impossible Rogue Nation. But it's got a really nice slipcover with some nice embossing on the title. Slipcover's in great condition. And I think I bought this from Poundland as well. So I just wanted the slipcover. I'll probably sell the other one or give it away. I love this film. I think it's one of the best action films of the past 20 years. I will probably put this in maybe the top 10 action films ever. I think it's fantastic. Fallout actually managed to top it, so holy shit. I can't believe they're doing more of them. I can't remember the years they're coming out, but they're doing 2 back-to-back follow-ups, so 7 and 8. Also from the director Christopher McQuarrie, who did this one and Fallout. Huge shoes to fill, I think. 2 of the best action films, at least in recent memory, Rogue Nation and Fallout. So I just wanted to get the slipcover because I'm such a huge fan of the film, and it'll just look nicer on the shelf, you know, next to Fallout. So Yeah, and I think there's an edition of this that has like a bonus disc. It isn't this one, so I would like to get the bonus disc version as well, maybe to kind of swap it out into this case or something. But yeah, I'm not going to go down the steelbook route with these films, but I definitely wanted a nice slipcover for one of my favorite action films ever. This one I haven't seen, but have heard pretty good things about. This seemed like it was rolling through the momentum of Silver Linings Playbook and American Hustle. David O. Russell movie Joy with Jennifer Lawrence. I think she's a really good actress. Hot take. But you know, you got De Niro in there, Bradley Cooper, who I'm becoming more and more a fan of, I have to say. So this one seemed to just arrive and then kind of quietly leave, you know. I heard good things, but then it just didn't have the buzz of the Silver Linings Playbook, which I thought was a fantastic film. So definitely wanted to check out for a couple of quid. It's one I have been wanting to get to, you know, just never really seemed to find the impetus to. I don't think when it came out, I didn't even know it came out, so it just kind of like left my consciousness. And finally, from Poundland, a film that I think got really bad reviews actually, or at least really mediocre ones, and it is directed by Wally Pfister, who is a cinematographer who works with Christopher Nolan, and it is Transcendence with Johnny Depp. I really like this film. Don't think it's a great film, but I really enjoyed it. It's definitely one I'd like to see again. It has a really good cast. Paul Bettany, who I love. Cillian Murphy, who I think is great. Kate Mara, Rebecca Hall, who's fantastic. Morgan Freeman, that's Morgan Freeman. And Johnny Depp. And it's a really interesting story. I love the sci-fi elements of this one. It's, I mean, it's not amazing, for sure, but it had my attention till the very end. There's some featurettes and things, and you know, looking into the direction of it by Wally Pfister, so I'm intrigued to look at that at some point. You know, probably won't be for a very long time, but it's definitely one I wanted to own, especially on Blu-ray. I think you know, it's a very visually cool-looking movie. But I loved the concept of. I'm not even going to go into it, actually. It's a really good film. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. Not one I'd like strongly recommend, but one that I think is really worth your time. If you like science fiction, you know, it isn't going to blow you away, but if you like science fiction films, it's a good time. And as the ice cream truck goes by, and parks right outside the window, and the guy is now looking at me. Hi, just doing a Blu-ray update. So that's not embarrassing at all. Okay, so this one is Terminator 2. Yeah, so we just had the Terminator Dark Fate trailer come out. Looked alright. The new T3. Maybe I'll do a video on that at some point. Probably not. What's the point? I'm looking forward to it. I have an open mind to a certain degree. But yeah, anyway, I'll leave that where it is. So I already own Terminator 2, but this is the 2018 re-release that has a new remaster. Now, I actually bought this for work reasons, because I want to have a look at the cut of this film that has a lot of the mistakes edited out of the movie. The classic David Hasselhoff moment. So there's a scene in the chase in the LA River where Arnold kind of like drives his motorbike, the Terminator drives his motorbike around the truck and saves John Connor from his motorbike. And that shot, you can see the stuntman clear as day, especially on Blu-ray, and it is like, it couldn't look anything like, I guess you probably could look a lot less like Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it clearly isn't Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it looks like David Hasselhoff to me, and I find it hilarious. They've now put a digital version of Arnie's face onto that shot, and one of the other shots of the stuntman on the bike, and they've also edited out some other mistakes digitally. So yeah, that's really intriguing, because I saw an interview of James Cameron where he said, I've gone back and I've changed one thing, one mistake, the windshield, but apart from that I haven't touched it. He touched a few more. He got rid of a few more mistakes. But also, it's a remaster. Looking forward to seeing that. People say that it does look better than the original Blu-ray. Also, it has a new retrospective documentary with Edward Furlong, Arnold Schwarzenegger, and James Cameron. So that alone, I mean, this cost like £8. In fact, no, because this was in the 2 for $13 deal, so it cost £6.50, which I think is a great deal. And it has all the commentaries and some other things, making of T2. There's so, and of course it has seamless branching of all three versions of the movie, the extended, the special edition, and the theatrical. But I mean, I had the original one of the original. Probably there was loads of versions of the DVD. Even I remember there was like, I forget what it was called now. There was like so many different named, Skynet edition. There was something else, and anyway, so I had one of the early like 2-disc DVD versions of this film. It had so many extras, and they never got, most of them didn't get carried over to the Blu-ray. So I need to dig that out and see that I've still got it, because I want all the extras. But they're spread over so many different releases of this film, and this has a nice slipcover, but it's really dinged up on the sides and stuff. But honestly, it is such a fingerprint magnet that I'm just gonna have to live with it, I guess. But it has a nice black case, which I think it fits and makes it look a little bit cooler. And I know this was done with 4K in mind, so perhaps I could have just waited until I get 4K. But I did want to use this for a video with work, so I thought I'd grab it now. And certainly with Dark Fate around the corner, probably a pretty good time to grab this and have a look at some of the special features and see what the transfer looks like on the movie. But I did recently rewatch and review this in the Epic Film Challenge 2. It was the 250th episode, so you can see mine and Connie's extended thoughts on that film there. And then the other film I got in the 2 for 13 deal, I wanted to get this edition a few times in HMV in Kingston. But the slipcover was always just like, not even like scuffed, but like ripped up and everything. And I guess this is like their regular sized Blu-ray case version of the VHS style covers they were doing. Not even covers, they had them in VHS cases, which were cool, but I thought I don't want to collect too many of them. They don't fit on a Blu-ray shelf, and you know, the inside packaging didn't impress me very much either. So this is kind of a nice compromise. It is the Warriors. So you have kind of this retro-looking slipcover, which is kind of cool. You know, certainly not a selling point for me, but it was nice to get it with the. I'm not sure if the. Okay, yes, the inside has the same kind of artwork. But I watched this the day before my 27th birthday, and it was it's great. And it's a film that my dad watched a lot when I was growing up, so I always knew the Warriors. I knew that whole come out to play bit, because it was just such this, like, it's such a, it grabs your attention so much when he says it. So I knew that part, but apart from that, I hadn't really seen it, and I thought it was a phenomenal film. So I can't wait to rewatch it. It might be in the book, but if it is, I'll definitely do a review, because I want to watch this again really soon. Phenomenal film. Just street gangs, New York City, just like mayhem, awesome. Such a good film. Yeah, love that film so much. And then finally, I have almost completed the Studio Ghibli collection. So I have 2 new additions to the Studio Ghibli Blu-ray collection. One I haven't seen, one I have. So the one I haven't seen is a film from Isao Takahata. It is My Neighbors the Yamadas. So this seems to be a very cartoony looking film. Certainly never grabbed my attention from the visuals. But I should know by now not to underestimate Takahata in any way, shape or form. Every film I've seen from him has pretty much been a masterpiece. So I'm sure that this won't be, because no one seems to really talk about it. But this is one where, again, I have to be that prick, but, you know, the slipcover. You know, I like to have nice looking slipcovers, and this was always ravaged whenever I saw it. So it's been years of seeing this and not picking it up. Finally found a slipcover that isn't dinged up or ripped, and so I thought I would grab it in the 2 for 25 deal. And this has the storyboards, and there is an English version. Jim Belushi, interestingly, is on this one. But yeah, I don't know much about the story. Definitely one to jump into blind, and looking forward to eventually getting to it and watching another film from one of the great masters of animation storytelling. So, the final Blu-ray is one that I've been holding off on because I wanted to get the American version, and I still want to get it someday, because it has a feature-length making-of documentary about this film that I really want to see. This one doesn't, but I thought I'd get it because I think Connie really wants to see this film, and I think the only way to watch this film is in the best possible quality. I think it's one of the great animated movies of all time. I think it's one of the great movies of all time. It's not necessarily my favorite, but I think that visually it feels like this. Let me think about this. It feels like a grand epic fairy tale, folklore, myth. Like this old story from hundreds of years ago, just plucked from like a a classical kind of rendering, like just beautiful writing of this old time story, then transposed into an animated movie. Like nothing about this feels like a commercial film. Nothing about this feels like appealing to kids or I mean, I can say that about most Studio Ghibli films, actually. I'm not saying this is like, it stands apart from the other Studio Ghibli films, but there's something about it that just feels like a proper, like, class. I mean, I don't know. I feel like this film could have been made at any point in time. It is a timeless movie with just stunning hand-drawn animation, and it is the tale of the Princess Kaguya. Also from Isao Takahata, his final film, his final masterpiece. It is just a knockout movie. I mean, not for everyone, certainly not for everyone. And I watched this on my laptop, I think the day of the Oscars that it was nominated for. So I need to see this on a big screen. I need to see this in Blu-ray. It has the film completion announcement and some TV spots. That's pretty much it. But I really want to get eventually the American Blu-ray that has the feature-length making-of documentary. Although The Kingdom of Dreams and Madness is a really good one, I'd like to get that on Blu-ray. I don't think you can with subtitles, but I'd like to see a more focused look at the making of this film. And I mean, it's a really long one as well. It's over 2 hours long, but it just I don't know. There's something about it. I can't even what's the word? I can't convey how I feel about this film. With the point I was trying to make, which again, it just feels like a classic mythic fairy tale brought to life in a movie with absolutely no compromise. It doesn't feel like an adaptation. It feels like it's been lifted from something 100, 200 years ago and just perfectly put into an animated movie. Amazing film. I hope that my expectations of rewatching it don't disappoint me, because I was just knocked dead by this film when I saw it, and I hope I don't enjoy it less the next time I see it. But there you go, that is 10 movies. That's all I've got to say. So if you've seen any of them, you want to talk about them, comment down below. Otherwise, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
It's alright by me. Apart from the fact he throws cans of Carlin into a tree. Yeah, he's really cool. Yeah, he's really cool. But he's not quite as cool as you, 'cause